We are back, and you two during the break were something else. I tell you.
I had nothing. I'm over here minding my business. I'm on probation. I can't be doing bad stuff.
Probation. Do we even want to know?
Let's keep it moving.
Okay. I want to thank our director behind the camera, Taryn Singley. He was so gracious enough to help us video this episode. As normally I'm behind the camera and then I'm doing a lot of editing and post. We're doing a little bit different this time where we're actually having a switcher and switching the angles, faster turnaround time. So, Taryn, thank you.
I like to point out I like that guy a lot better than you. So it's pretty impressive how he comes in. He said 8 words to me, and he's already like that much better than you.
Mm-hmm. Well, wait till he gets to know you. And then,
wow, that cuts. That hurts. That digs right in there, baby.
Well, one thing that I'm sure that you might be seeing is us out to the movies here. The rest of 2018 and the rest of 2019. And first, let's start off with probably, and we're going in this in a certain format, but I'm sure a lot of dates will be had with Aquaman.
Ugh.
What do we know about Aquaman? Let's start with Jeremy. What do you know about Aquaman?
Well, we kind of got a little familiar with how awesome this Aquaman is in Justice League. Now, no matter what opinion you have on Justice League, whether you like the movie or you didn't like it, most people really did agree that was a cool Aquaman. You know, and Aquaman is usually kind of like, you know, the joke of DC. You know, here he is. Yeah. He can swim. That's not a superpower, but kind of is. He can talk to fish, and you know he's strong and whatnot. And he got a few other powers, but really, everybody makes fun of him. You know, I mean, people respect Batman, but you know, people respect Superman. But Aquaman. But now we have here is not only very cool Aquaman, but he has his own solo movie, and it looks amazing.
Aquaman.
I think what is most important to address with this Aquaman is not the movie itself, but the fact that we all have to go to this movie so that our spouses can Google this dude. I mean, if they made him wear a shirt the whole movie, none of us would have to go see Aquaman. But because this dude is who he is, we will all be there with, and I gotta get a gym membership now so I can compete with Aquaman, because that's what I thought I was going to say sometime in my life, that I was going to have to go. I want to be Batman. No kid in the history of ever has said, I want to be Aquaman. Like Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, Aquaman.
Green Lantern.
Well, until they made the Green Lantern movies.
That didn't exist, though.
I think actually Ryan Reynolds wants you to forget that. I think he wants you to forget that.
I will say the Aquaman, they actually show a teaser with the Aquaman DC outfit proper. They actually show him. And if you read the DC comic books, Aquaman is one of the best series that DC has. So if you're not familiar with Aquaman, the comics are great. And yes, we will be going with people that normally will not watch Aquaman.
They reinvented him very well in the games, like especially the new 52 and everything else has been happening. Aquaman has been taking some changes. You know, they've made him more of a I would say, interesting character. And like you said, stories has been really good. In fact, one of the animated movies that's based also on the actual comics and so on. But again, for the viewers, we might just keep it animated. But I think it was the Flashpoint Paradox, actually heavily focused on Aquaman and Wonder Woman and the whole, you know, battle between them two. I know, them two battling, but that just shows you how good of an interesting his character actually is. And then you have the Injustice games as well. I mean, they really went ahead and have been slowly transforming Aquaman from like, Aquaman to, Aquaman.
And I think this is a pivotal moment for DC. With Justice League kind of being lots of people enjoyed it. Lots of people thought it was a great experience. Lots of people also thought, when you compare it to all the cool things that Marvel is doing and the way that they've really fleshed out their universe, at the point where Marvel can get Ant-Man over For 2 movies, that's impressive. Whereas we are still waiting on that marquee Superman movie. It just has not happened. They struggle to tell a good story with characters. They do a wonderful job in the animated universe, but they truly struggle in the live action. So for Aquaman, this one is going to be, I think, a real test for them if they can, even grabbing up that female demographic and saying, hey, look, there's a great story to be told here, and you have some eye candy. You know, that's one thing that Marvel, they have not really sold themselves on it being all about the eye candy. I mean, Hemsworth and all those guys, I mean, they do their job. And yes, whatever. That feels weird. I'm just going to move on. But you take any of the Marvel females, compare that to Wonder Woman. I mean, like, her outfit, everything about her outfit makes you go, huh, well, please, let's continue watching this for just a couple more minutes. Because it was, like Amazon, really. Oh, so I'm the only one that's like...
I'm not saying that. I'm just... We're talking about character development, and you just went way out of there.
All I'm saying is, at this point, DC has not done a good job in that. They've just barely starting to edge into the comedy bit, trying to get people there. They have really hedged their bet on being able to tell a phenomenal story with characters that people want to see. Like, with actors playing the characters that people want to see. I'm just saying, they've done a good job with that. Now, if they can actually get a story to go with it and actually make it watchable,
I also think that another thing is Marvel has also been more approachable. See, the thing is, like, when you look at Iron Man, when you look at Spider-Man, there's also these characters that you can in some way relate to. They're grounded, and not only that, but the movies themselves are approaching not only the actual fans of these characters, but also people who have no idea. Like, before you went to the movie theater, half the people didn't know who Iron Man was, who Doctor Strange was, who Ant-Man was.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy. No one knew who they were, but now that's a household name.
Yes.
You know, this was a very movie that not only appealed to the fans, but also to the general audience. And I think that's the main thing that DC have had a hard time getting with, is appealing to that general audience who isn't comic book heavy.
Well, maybe it won't take a Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Justice League movie. Maybe it's going to take an oddball character such as Shazam to bring in the casual viewer to the DC universe. The relatable kid who suddenly gets these powers. That releases out in April of next year. But it doesn't have the tone of a DC movie. It's lighthearted from what we've seen in the previews. Lighthearted. It looks fun. And it's a powerful, it's not, if anyone knows history on Captain Marvel, Shazam, Superman, this is kind of this is something new for DC. Maybe this is we're trying to get the comedy. I almost want to say this is them reaching for that Marvel audience.
Seeing this character brought to life is going to be really exciting. I think there's the capacity, if they really go after it and they can get that story arc that I think they've done a good job even inside Arrowverse. They've figured out how to tell a great story in there. If they can bring that energy to the big screen, I think it's going to go great. I mean, they did a phenomenal job with Flash in the Arrowverse, you know, on your CW shows.
They could capture that Flash magic in Shazam. Yeah. I agree with you. I think this could be their turning point, where we can see DC from going from meh to okay, now we actually got something. Yeah. You know, and I think that like you said, this could be them reaching that general audience, that Marvel audience, but also it's something that finally we have a character that we can relate to. I mean, this is like the kid in all of us. That's him. You know, Billy's just a likable guy too. I mean, I love his character as well. But when you look at all these other characters in the DC universe who's been in the cinematic DC universe, they're these big monumentum people, you know, Superman, Batman, Aquaman, Cyborg. These are all larger than life characters. Yeah. Then you have like this kid getting powers, and it's just like,
right. Well, let me say this.
If you go back to Smallville, even, I think that speaks to your point. In that Smallville, they took Superman and they scaled him way back. Yeah. They stripped him down, and that made him a little more accessible. Yeah. You know,
well, let's say, too, that DC with the Shazam franchise has an ace in the hole by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson playing Black Adam, if he's still attached to it, that will be something to look forward to when you have the iconic actor that is going to play a role. So we'll be watching Shazam.
I can see him doing that too.
Yeah,
he's his character.
Exactly.
A lot of people say I look like him.
Yes, people's eyebrow. Well, let's speak about characters coming out here at the end of, because by the time this episode is aired, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse will be out, animated. Now, if you want to talk about characters, what more can you say except Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen, classic Peter Parker, Spider-Man Noir. The list goes on and on.
May Parker.
May Parker.
May
Jeremy,
Parker.
tell me a little bit about Sony's foray into the Spider-Verse with this animated movie.
This is by far one of the movies that I really have been looking forward to. There's just everything about this. Miles Morales is one of my more favorite new characters to the whole Marvel universe. He's very interesting in just so many ways. Like, for one thing, unlike everyone else in the superhero genre, his parents is alive, at least at the beginning, you know? So he has his mom, he has his dad, you know, he has his family life, and he's young, and he just got so much going on. But it's not just him in here. We also see, like, literally all these other Spider people. We're going to see Spider-Gwen and her issues. We're going to be able to see our older Peter Parker.
Who is Spider-Gwen?
Okay, so Spider-Gwen has just blown in popularity. Basically, I think, oh man, I can't exactly quote the Earth she's from. I think it's like 615 or something. Don't quote me on that. But what is that what happened if Gwen got bit by the spider instead of Peter? And Peter actually, like later on in the storyline, actually ended up becoming the Lizard himself. So you have an entire universe where things kind of change, you know, and she has to deal with not only being the Spider-Man so much of her world, but also the fact that, you know, her best friend is also the bad guy, but also is the fact that her father is still chief of police. Yeah. So she has a whole different issues to attack her, basically. So, and then you have Mayday Parker, and you have Noir, and you have Spider-Ham. I mean, just
Spider-Ham. Spider-Ham.
Come on.
Okay. Peter Porker, the
things about
spectacular Spider-Ham. That if they came out with an amiibo, if Spider-Ham was into Smash, if they brought out Spider-Ham into Smash, I know I could see you playing that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Kind of mixing up. What's your favorite animated movie? You be taking the kids to watch it? You be going looking?
So my son and I, my older son and I, have decided that we're going to take my 11-year-old son to the movie. Not because he wants to see it, even if he didn't want to, he'd be forced to, because we need the cover. Because, you know, I'm grown and I want to see more.
Pop culture has no age limit.
Thank goodness, because I am so excited about this movie. Every piece of it makes it. They have done a phenomenal job just in every piece of marketing around it. Everything about this, just, it's been pulling me in since the first moment I saw it. I am excited. I already have tickets. It is happening.
Can we talk
it's
about
going
the art
down
style?
this Friday.
The art style.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. They actually make you feel as though you are literally seeing a comic book come to life. Not only with the little piles and so on, but also if, like, I've been looking at the trailer, if you look in the background, some of the times the lines are offset, like to basically give you that illusion of how in some of the older comics, the pages will be offset as well. So in other words, the art style is even made to feel like not only a comic come to life, but an old school comic at that. And I just feel like the action of this movie will match the humor, and the story looks deep enough that not only appeal to Spider-Man fans, but also fans who are trying to get into the genre as well of superheroes and everything.
Well, let's go from superheroes. I agree. I'm going to look to watch it with some people as well. Jeremy and I might be knocking at your door, sitting right behind you, going, hey.
You're always welcome.
Pass the nachos.
There's others that, you know.
Now, let's go into Spider-Man animated to, you talked about style, the 90s. Great time for all of us. Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel coming out here in March of next year. That's set in the 90s. Captain Marvel, kind of a wild card in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Sean, Captain Marvel.
I thought it was the 80s.
90s, because best Blockbuster Videos is still around.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying is we're going to see a lot of 90s references in Captain Marvel, which for us, be a great
soundtrack should be banging. And little Skrull energy going on in there. I think this one, this brings us into Endgame, and I have high hopes. Captain Marvel was, I have to admit, Captain Marvel wasn't a character that I kept up on when I was, I was a mutant kid. Like, that was my thing. And so I saw the Captain Marvel comics over there, and I thought, yeah, maybe one day. One day has not happened. So for me, this is exciting because it's a fresh character, a fresh take for me. I have no expectations going in. I'm just expecting to go in and have my usual Marvel goodness.
I'm looking forward to it as well because it's almost the backstory that they're plugging in a new chapter before we get to Endgame. And there's been some controversy on the internet. People might not be looking forward to it. I personally am. I'm looking forward to the 90s nostalgia. Nick Fury, younger Nick Fury. We're going to get
Samuel Jackson, as long as we're getting more Samuel Jackson. Come on.
We can never have enough Samuel L. Jackson.
Not even him petting a cat. Remember in the trailer?
Yes.
He's petting a cat.
No, I'm looking forward to that to see, because the character Captain Marvel is a title designated. There's been various Captain Marvels throughout the years in the Marvel universe, the comic books, and now Carol Danvers is the newest Captain Marvel that's going to be portrayed. But there's going to be some history of the whole Kree and Skrull conflict. That's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to that, and of course, we have to talk about it. Go right in.
Endgame now. I mean, we got to talk about the elephant in the room. Avengers Endgame. The trailer is just, it hit me so hard because you look at these characters and we have such a huge investment with these people now, over 10 years. And I'm just looking at, like, to hear him giving up Tony.
Yes,
Stark.
at the very beginning of the trailer.
The beginning of the trailer opens up with Tony Stark basically leaving a message for Pepper. And that hit.
Yeah,
that hit hard. And it's not just that. You see everyone, this is, like they said, they fought and they lost. And this is them trying to recover the pieces, right what's wrong. And there's a lot of theories going about how this is going to happen. We see, if you saw the trailer, you can definitely see that Ant-Man is there, and we don't know how that happened, especially since they don't even know that he was there. So I'm thinking maybe there's some Captain Marvel people from there who's going to have some influence there. Maybe that's not really Ant-Man. After all, I think the reason why Captain Marvel is going to be such an endpoint into this is not only that she's going to come help save the day, but also her universe is going to impact this Endgame universe as well. So it's like we're going to see the end, but the beginning, and it's just going to be such an emotional. Avengers 1 was Infinity War was already so emotional. Can anybody not say that wasn't emotional? When Peter said those words, you could feel it. Especially after Homecoming. After he just said, if anything happens to you, I feel like that's on me. And then sure enough, something happens to him right in front of him.
How many of us went through the Avengers emotionally at the end of Infinity War, emotionally drained? We were been so invested into these characters, like Jeremy said, Captain America talking with Black Widow. Captain America, this might be his last appearance in a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. For 10 years, Sean, we've been with these characters. What are you feeling? You know that this is the hard line of we've almost hit 10 years of our lives have been invested in these characters, both the big ones and then the small ones, even Hawkeye. Where do we go?
So I'm gonna be on the outside of this one, in the fringe, where I was frustrated by Infinity War. I don't get me wrong, it was an enjoyable ride. I liked what they did. I liked the action. I liked the way they framed it. My problem was every one of us knew what was going to happen at the end of that movie. Before it came out, when it was announced, we all knew what was going to happen. My problem is that they didn't do anything that shocked me. They left me exactly where I was expected to go. It's kind of like, even at the end of the Titanic, we all knew the boat was going to sink. Hopefully no spoilers, but And when they're on the door, that's when everything changes. That's the true climax of the movie, because we all knew the boat was going down. We didn't know what was going to happen on the door, and that's what gave us that feeling of closure, because it didn't end as we expected. It ended with this this last moment where we went, no, we knew the snap was coming. There was no if, no ands, no buts. So for me, at the end of that one, I was like, ugh. I had some mixed emotions on that. So as we move into this one, I have worked very hard to keep myself away from spoilers, from reading ahead, from trying to decipher too much, because I'm hoping that this one, I know we've got characters leaving. I know that we have people that are saying, okay, I've done my run with this Marvel thing. It's time for me to move forward. I get it. I understand characters start aging. The actors begin to age, and it's time for a refresh and to stay competitive. However, I think for this one, the stakes are truly high on this movie, because if they can't wrap this up in a way that gives everyone that feeling of satisfaction, that takes all that tension that people that were satisfied with the ending of Infinity War and brings that forward and resolves that very nicely while jumping us to the next spot. What's coming in this next series of movies, this next 10 years, if we aren't going to see our Cap, or if Cap is moving to who should be getting it, if we're getting into the new faces, the new characters, and what the natural evolution is.
The mantles.
Yeah, there's lots of folks that are ready to pick up, and it'll be interesting if they can transition into that very cleanly and let us say goodbye, but also let us get excited. Or if it's just, I felt like at the end of Infinity War, they were like, well, you knew it was going to happen. And that's it.
I equated to think who would happen.
Yeah,
to.
how did
That's
we
what
know?
I'm like, the shock value was the fact that we knew it was going to happen. We didn't know who was going to take, because I'm like,
and how it happened. And how it happened.
Like, going to the theater, I was like, oh yeah, we know Spider-Man is going to live. We know Black Panther is going to live because of the fact that they already announced their movies. And the next thing you know, they was just like, and you're dead. I was just like, wait, I thought the original people were going to go.
Right.
So this way, the new people can come and try and save them. But nope, it's just the pure OGs. And you're just like, oh.
But also inside that, it tells you without a doubt, this either has to be retcon or we got to do some time travel.
Yeah.
This will not stand.
No.
And to me, that takes some. Again, I already know, because there's already an announcement for another movie. I already know what has to happen in this movie, and that just takes some of the excitement out of it for me. I'm still super excited. I think it's going to be an amazing experience. I'm just not as excited as I would have been had I not known these people are coming back.
So you're saying that, like, if Disney and Marvel and everybody would have been super tight-lipped and was like, listen, we got the Avengers movie coming out, and then after that they had no announcements, no Spider-Man Far From Home, no nothing. There was just like, here's the Avengers movie. And then it happens, you're just like, wait a minute. We don't know what's going to happen next. I mean,
I think Walking Dead did that.
I'll be honest with you. I agree with you there. I would have been as happy as I was for the movie, as excited, which I still am 100% for that movie.
You're excited about everything.
Just, oh my gosh. But at the same time, I would agree with you. There was something like, I was like, because I went in there thinking like, okay, you know what? I know he's going to live. And then the moment he died, I'm like, okay, they are going to reverse this, because of the fact that we know that they're going to live. And then, of course, we got Tom Holland around, showing off his new super suit. So we're just like, Tom, we love you, but you're making it hard for Infinity War.
Well,
we know you're going to live.
Characters that we love, franchises that we love, franchises that we grew up with as a kid, franchises that someone has taken and just beat to the ground. Transformers. I'm going on record. I liked the first Transformers and it went downhill. Maybe I liked the fourth one, the fifth one. I was done with Transformers. I'm a G1 fan all the way around. I know that you personally, you are a little bit more, you're liking some of the characters of Transformers. On the movie, I'm not. When Bumblebee was announced, there's no way I'm going to go see this. But then we get the trailers. And there's a little something called G1 goodness that is represented in the trailers. And if this is the swan song for the Bay-style franchise as they soft reboot it or reboot it, I'm looking forward to seeing the G1 iterations. This actually looks like they're finally getting it right. And I'm going to start with you, Sean. This was a movie I was not cared to see until I saw the trailers.
I agree with you on the first Transformers movie. It was a powerful experience. I was not a fan of Rodimus Prime, but that battle between Megatron and when Galvatron took out Starscream.
We're talking about the G1 movie that was released in theaters here a couple months ago. Yeah,
the cartoon.
Yeah,
I think that's the only real.
Everything after that, that's true.
Everything after that, I'm like, yeah. I've tried to watch it, and I get it gets loud and things blow up, and then everything gets blurry, and I know there's some action happening, but it's not right enough for me to see, and so I struggle with it. I think it would be wonderful. I think they are having the same problem that DC has, which is how do we tell a compelling story with these amazing characters? And
it should be a no-brainer to me.
No, but instead we're going to have Marky Mark in there, and go ahead and rock it, Wahlberg, because that's what we all came to the movie to see, is the interaction between the humans, because we don't get enough human movies. So it'll be interesting. I'm hoping. I have great hopes for Bumblebee. I don't know if it's one that's going to be, if I have limited access to funds, is it going to be one that's going to be at the top of my list to run out and see? Most likely. I hate me sometimes.
I would actually agree with you on this one. Because I'm like, I'm agreeing with him on this one, not you. Anyway.
Surprise.
The thing is that, yes, there's that, when Transformers, the movie by Michael Bay came out, there was that magic. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing a Transformer come to life for the first time.
Right.
When you saw Bumblebee, and it was just so much like the camera work and everything was trying to hide it and, give you this sense of wonder. Fast forward movies later, and you're just like, something's got to change. Something's got, especially the last one. And I mean, you're talking
we saw that one together, and
for the record,
I cringed.
I am a huge Transformers fan.
Yes.
I have a gigantic, huge chest at home that's filled with action figures up to the brim. I mean, you name it. I played every Transformers game, watched all the shows. That last movie was hard for me. And that's saying a lot. This is me who's been constantly defending the Transformers movies.
The Last Night.
I can't defend Transformers Last Night. I mean, there has some moments, but that last scene, where's Optimus? He never made it. All of a sudden, he just come. Explain, where did he go? Like, what's going on here?
They had the pieces into that movie.
About that movie.
Unicron, spoilers, if you haven't known, Unicron, Nemesis Prime, they had a quintessa for a quintesson.
Why was he floating in space? He was just flying off.
They took, I believe it was Age of Extinction, the Dinobots, and it felt like, okay, that was good. Yeah, I was, you know what? I expected nothing, so I got something. Pleasantly surprised. So I go, hey, let's go watch his Transformers, and I'm sitting here going like this.
So good. You had the formula.
I'm done.
It's Dinobots.
Yeah.
And then that happened. But like you said, there's something about nostalgia. There's something about nostalgia that when we have that glasses on and we see this and we're reminded about something, of a happier time, we're just like, wow. And Bumblebee is, especially after the last night, I was not looking forward to this. I was like, listen, I'm done with Transformers. And then they showed that trailer of classic Bumblebee, classic Starscream.
Yeah, Soundwave, Cybertron.
The literal Optimus Prime that I know and love. And I'm just looking like, whoa, we may have something here. Like,
took us 5 movies to get there, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but there was a few good ones. 3 and 4 was good. 1, 3, and 4. 2, and the last one, don't talk about. But this one right here looks to be, like you said, looks to be that swan song. Like, listen, we're gonna pay homage to the Bayverse and what all happened already. But it could be a soft reboot. It could be a continuation. We know it's a prequel for sure.
Yeah, set in the 80s.
But the thing is, will it continue on the Bay universe, or will it actually start over again? We'll have to watch and see. But from the trailer, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm actually excited for Transformers again. This looks good. It looks like the nostalgia glasses should be there, and it should be intact, and we could get finally the Transformer movie we were supposed to have.
I think one of the things that Marvel has taught us is with Spider-Man is you can make a million movies and restart the character over and over again until you get it right.
Yeah.
If you try hard enough, we, the fans, will support you as long as we see a progression. At the end of Tobey's little reign there, we had a dance number. If you remember in Spider-Man 3, we had a dance number in the middle of a cafe.
I loved it. I'm sorry.
I hated every minute of it. I tried to swallow my own tongue so I could to have a seizure and get pulled out of there by the ambulance because I needed to leave
when
that.
When you killed Venom, that was the killing point for me for that universe. I was like, I'm done.
Terrible.
You can't kill Venom. He needs his own movie. He needs his own everything. Venom's such a good character. You can't just let him go like that.
Well, we did get a Venom movie.
And that was pretty tasty. They did it.
No redemption there.
Disney is never going to allow heads to be eaten off like that one did, but man, it was a nice way to start it.
Well, we've got to take a break. I think we're all in agreement that there's some great movies coming out, and we'll be there. And if anyone wants to tell us what movies, I know we've missed out a bunch that we will cover in future episodes, but let us know as you watch, the Disney live-action universe. Let us know, Facebook on comments, let us know what you're going to watch and let us know what you think. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're wrapping up with just the tip of the iceberg with the little game that he likes to play called, I think, Super
Smash Brothers.
Hey, wasn't there a game that we played before that, though, that he was supposed to feed me grapes on?
Yes.
We'll have to remember that.
Yes. We'll be back in just a moment.